Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's Getting in Your Game Call. This is Jim Rivas calling in from my place in upstate, real close to the Canadian border and near north central Minnesota. Tonight, before we get into the topics that I wanted to cover, I'll just, for those of you who didn't take the time to read the long email that I sent earlier today, I'd like to just kind of go over it real quick. Now, for the next 30 to 60 days, our main focus here at the JMA, from a global strategic perspective, would be first off to complete our robust training library, and that's well underway and very close to completion as of tonight. We want to limit our live webinar trainings and workshops and do a whole lot more of these recordings. Leave essentially our live calls to actual workshops like the one we're doing Saturday coming up, and probably Tuesday night, Saturday night is what we're thinking from here. And just again for a limited period of time. Reseller Distributor Support Center is the major change you're going to see in your member area under essentially anything involving sales or sales support, including some recorded trainings and resources for you guys. And we really want to focus on the solidarity and the sharpness of the Lightning System JMAP, and particularly on this first launch, as I'll talk to you about in a few minutes. You know, the big challenge has been in all this is just time. And as I go through the content that I have for tonight, I think you'll gain an appreciation, even when you go down the list of the different things that we've been doing and why we've been doing over our development period. It's all coming together into a perfect storm of timing and need in the marketplace. And if there's no bigger calling right now to me, it's to get it all finished, and not just for everyone here and our members in prosperity creation. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Yeah, as I'm going to explain to you a little later in this video, there's a greater need for what we're doing out here in the world, in the world right now, with some major things going on out in the social media realm and with alt media and censorship and things like that. That actually kind of forecast quite a while back in a design, and why I thought what we were doing was worth doing, even though it took a long time to do. Going back to why the changes real quick, the big ticket biz op opportunity market was always done with heavy focus on live calls, live interaction on a robust schedule. It was really about getting the community together. Well, these days the community gathers in different ways, using social media and different methodologies. And while I do believe we'll re-implement, a live call during the week, we have basically a little different idea of what I want to do, because this, building a JMA isn't about, what I have in mind for things I want to do. It's really about empowering each of you, all of our members, all of our future members, to actually have success, to truly duplicate this formula that's been proven time and time again to work, and yet that's a true business and teachable formula. What we're doing is really not rocket science. Perhaps maybe in some of the code you could say that, yeah, but that code is there, that complicated code is there, so that's simple for you, as many of you understand. Now, I do encourage you to go ahead and read through that long email center. If you hadn't, I'm just looking through, scanning some of these topics before I get into tonight's topic in earnest. Okay, I think I got through all of this. Okay, now there's a little bit of a different offshoot here. Again, I do encourage all of you to read the link to the email. I know when I wrote it, I said, hey, come to this audio to get everything. And I think many of you have read, or as you've been following us here over the last few weeks and months, that these issues have come to they've come into the forefront. And as being an epicenter, that I can tell you, you have to practice what you preach, and practice what you preach means, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're not getting the results you want. You have to pivot and you have to change, and that's essentially what we're doing now. And why is really pretty easy, especially when you consider the context of really what we have here, and then the sheer size and scope of what we've created over time, recognizing need, and with the ultimate goal of creating not only the perfect prosperity solution for people out on the internet, but even in a bigger context. I had the bigger vision, and it really came from one of these days. The likes of Facebook, Google, you need competition. There has to be a different way, and the time is coming now, and for the very reasons that I thought. You know, I hadn't revealed a lot of this to our members. Really, some people never in the past. Maybe you've heard me talk about this before. Maybe you haven't. About my vision 8 years, 7 years ago. Many people wonder, why didn't you do more in social media? I said, well, because I really don't want to build my my castle, if you will, on your sand and your beach with your tide coming in. Bottom line. And yet, ultimately, those places are fertile with people. I mean, if you're trying to drive traffic to a website or to a presence of business, no matter what you're doing, you go where the fish are, right? And social media certainly is a place where the fish hang out. Yet, when I build my business, as I build a business, as I sell a product, build a community, which really, if you're going to build any kind of networking style business, community is going to be at the center of it because it, really kind of needs to be. And so we go to those other places to, expand. We call it a digital footprint, internet footprint presence. We use robotics, automation, artificial intelligence to make that easy for people to do. Now, when we look at, just the enormity, I'm just going to run down. I was just writing a little bullet list this afternoon here about, what did it, if we just went down a simple list of what we have here, and not ideas, actually working, operating subsystems in code. And this goes right to the challenge and why this has been, such a Herculean effort to push that last foot over the last foot line, because it's just there's a coordinated thing. There's a whole scenario of events that need to happen in sequence for that to actually happen and come up in sequence. So essentially, I've definitely pared everything back as far as the sequence and to make it, more and more attainable. It's changed to more live video format, or recorded video format, if I should say, and has replaced the live calls. As a replacement to live calls, actually gives us, me in particular, more time, and I needed to be able to find a way to do it. And I see so many people using this model, so I'm inclined to think that this is actually going to be, part of a strategy solution we'll teach going forward. Now, again, think about our major products. Here we have the Joint Marketing Alliance. The Joint Marketing Alliance is a technology company at its core. What are our products? Well, JMAP, JMAP Lightning, B2B JMAP for business, if you will. There's a new platform we're going to be unveiling that's actually being used already. It's called Member Pro. We have the JMAP Social WizNet component, and that's another component that is actually being tested online in other group platforms that are using the platform already. And then, we have some of these bigger concepts. Again, all this has been built into the framework of the JMAP system. A sub-brand of created called C-Source, which is content source, crowdsourced content built right into our platform. And of course, the system, that we branded actually a couple of years ago that orchestrates all this, the JMAP Pulse system, which is the heartbeat, basically giving your internet presence a heartbeat to bring the attention to it deserves, and ultimately with the attention the people come. This is how, one of the major strategies to attracting traffic off the internet, by getting higher rankings, by getting higher social scores, etc. A lot of automation can be used to enhance that, and again, that's where I'm going to stop. That's not where we stopped. In other words, as we stand here on the precipice of this enormous threshold here, we're not just sitting here with just a product, because along the way we've created so many other things in support of a selling operation, a quasi-network marketing style, direct sales type operation, and all of this is custom. And many of you know the list, maybe you all don't. Here it is. We have, and all this is integrated into our platform. And what that means is if you're a member and you're active in the programs that include these things, there's no additional cost outside those programs. It's not like when you get involved in a network marketing program or MLM, and then suddenly after you've signed up, oh, you got to go buy your autoresponder system, and oh, you got to go get your landing page, your sales page system, and all that. And those are all additional costs, sometimes pretty significant on a monthly basis. We've just folded that into our basic JMA membership. Let's go right down the list though. And this is a sub list: a funnel marketing system, landing pages for our users, backed up by a member management area and a contact manager, if you will. That we've also have a viral marketing platform, new to be shown to you guys. You've all seen eFlood in the email broadcasting program. Well, that has been modified to do text broadcasting. Very excited about that, by the way. And then, essentially a user content, a social, member manager, if you will. The ability to, and all these things work inside the ability to do things like, advanced marketing concepts. You don't have to use those advanced marketing concepts, but grouping, tagging, being able to measure results. It's a serious marketer's platform. And again, it's been designed as, people ask me, what gave you all these ideas? So I simply took what I've done to be a big earner in the industry and basically wrapped it all up into one platform. And as it turns out, and I guess I remember this, I used to do a lot of different things. And I had a little staff too when we were knocking down multiple seven figures a year in big direct sales companies. And yeah, so my quest has been to compact all that into, a insanely high value software as a service application for people. And again, that's the JMA. So now from the money making or prosperity creation side of the business, which, if we're going to make a shift here, this shift is going to be as follows. We've been talking, certainly in the last few years, all about technology. Well, let's face it, folks, technology is boring. Internet marketing technology, there's really nothing sexy about it whatsoever. I don't care how automated it is, how slick it is and all. The only people who are going to care about it or benefit from it are those who actually want to succeed on the internet, right? And I think people with some experience are going to, certainly be enamored with the power and how it simplifies and consolidates activities. That's all well and good, and it might excite people who understand that kind of technology. Yet this type of business model, especially when we look at where we're going to position in the marketplace, well, there's obviously many places to position in the marketplace with the JMA and JMAP products. I mean, the ideas are endless. We're going to be talking about a couple of emerging ones that are happening right now in just a few minutes. But the bottom line is, we have this technology framework. It's designed and it's a JMA delivered, Joint Marketing Alliance delivered product set, all centered around JMAP. And then for our people who want more support, want to participate in a higher level prosperity program, able to make big commissions. That's why we have the Factor 7 program, but it's not like the old Factor 7, like the old 2-ups or direct sales programs. This one is a lot more robust, a lot more flexible than anything that's ever been put together before. So, ask yourself, what I've just talked about in the last 5 minutes, if your head isn't spinning just from that information, and I'm rifling through this, and I'm recording this without a PowerPoint presentation, so I can just do it in flow. All right, now let's talk about verticals. And going forward on this show on Thursday nights, Getting the Game, we're going to be talking about applications and on Tuesday nights live, because applications are how you attack certain markets and how you attract people into the business, into the JMA, going after verticals. What's a vertical market? Let's say you have developed, you've got knowledge of the dentistry business and you want to go after dentists all across the country. You can, use our system, create essentially a sub-product or sub-application or an integration solution and go right across the country on just dentists, right? It makes it easy for you to put together something for dentist platforms. And again, those are end-user platforms and service projects. As a member of the JMA, you certainly can put something like that together. Maybe you want to be a true home internet business warrior, where you create multiple different streams of income with a portfolio of turnkey opportunities, internet opportunities, affiliate products, and right on down the line. Our system lets you build these businesses real easy, these different ones, right? Yet for those of you new or maybe forgot, back in the early days, and you can go back and listen to some old Getting the Game calls from, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when we were first architecting this whole idea. And social media was just becoming real popular at that point in time. Now, from that point, as soon as I saw social media, I certainly saw the biggest thing that bothered me about it was that if I went and built a huge presence there, a big audience there, I don't own the mechanism. In other words, I don't get a mail list out of YouTube of my subscribers that I can, broadcast email messages to, as I can if I collect my own mail list off my site. Facebook, basically the same thing. In other words, yeah, they have tools in those networks and on those websites that let you communicate with your users, but you're always bound to that website. Well, when you're totally dependent on someone else's site, especially if they're giving it to you for free, you don't own it. And so when, like in the modern day times, current times, when You know, these big media types, these companies have gotten so big, and now they're deciding to censor people. I mean, they've always executed some degree of censorship. You know, they have rules of the road as far as decency and whatnot. Now they've expanded those rules, and I know in the last couple of weeks, you know, if any of you follow any of the alt media, whatnot, you're seeing they're hammering those people, and 80% of them have no choice. They're killing them, and they're killing them off because they lured them in, had them build their empires on the beach, otherwise known as YouTube, or pick the other one, and now they're basically have raised the tide on them, and these folks have, you know, many of them have nowhere to go, which creates for people who know our platform one huge opportunity, and it's actually a vertical. Now we already have a couple of such operations on board, and they're the ones beta testing and actually running, you know, which is a second or third phase from our core launch, our socialization part, which allows people to connect. That WizNet concept that we talked about a lot in the past, using think tanks and people being able to group and meet on idea and thought space, you know, and putting a pure, unfiltered way for people to execute pure attraction marketing, and put themselves in an arena where that's going to most likely happen. I find people who are interested in the same things you are, same business as you are, or maybe are from a client base that's particularly fertile for your type of business. Okay, now these are longer term strategic plans. Why? Because you know they require large user bases to do that. I mean, it's social network, you know, it's about people, so you want to have people on the site participating in it. And yet, it built into the JMA system was always a way for you to build your own little subnetworks, have your own little membership site. In fact, just as a basic JMAP paid subscriber, you can actually configure your entire JMAP or a large part of your JMAP back office to brand it, to have your own, to promote your own products, basically from your organization down. There's a whole lot of features in the system. Again, they were thought of. Some of it was wish list along the way. You know, quite frankly, it's like, wow, that'd be really nice to just be able to promote out to, you know, to your group, right? Or maybe to people who in our profit plan, or actually, you know, if they pull it up and say, okay, if I bought a Dominator or an Elite system, who would I pay, right? Well, most, you know, networking companies that, or direct sales companies that have products like that, you know, they might give the user the ability to look up, and they know who it is that they're, you know, sponsor or purchase, who they would purchase that package from based on the comp plan rules. Yet rarely does the systems allow the actual potential recipient to look down and mark it down through those channels. And you know, I think it's obviously in the benefit, especially as we go into a wide vertical network, because so many of our users are just out there end product users, not interested in the resale opportunities or affiliate opportunities, any of that stuff. So the people who are, we want to give them complete access to the people who are, you know, through the people who aren't, to the people who may potentially will be. Now, the other thing that, you know, swinging back around to the training component, now I was in that letter, but I realized I didn't talk about it, and I really meant to before I wrap up tonight's video, and that is about leadership development. One of the things that I thought about is how do we empower our people, you, all right, all of our members, to leverage your skills, because everyone who is here now, you're here early. You know, a year from now, every one of you ought to be able to say you've made at least a six-figure, multiple six-figure income from being here. Okay, and you know, I'm not just saying that conjecture. I'm serious about that. It's certainly built in the mechanics of our opportunities, and that could actually happen just you know, going to the wall with Lightning and JMAP Lightning platforms, and not even selling Factor 7. That's even possible. Yet, you know, it's easier to do if you're selling the bigger stuff too. You know, ultimately, that, you know, we're all about pure duplication. What is pure duplication? Well, pure duplication is when you actually do the things that the leaders do to become leaders yourself. I mean, you know, when I look out across the MLM network marketing world, affiliate world, you know, everybody tends to congregate around a star, right, a rock star, somebody who's had a lot of success, and everybody learns at their feet, all right? Well, the object of the game, you know, for you isn't to sit and just learn from such a person, although you should always learn from people who have outperformed your results or blazed a path before you. You have to actually do the things they do to be successful, right? And that's what our Factor 7 program and Prosperity Solution program is all about. It's it's about doing the things, actually executing, knowing what they are, having a mentorship and continuity program to support you in doing them, and actually have you take the action because you have the tools. And again, not a little simple tool, but a robust suite of tools that are targeted towards one thing: prosperity creation on the web. Okay, because that's what it's really all about. If you're going to market on the web, your goal is to get users to look at your website, traffic as we call it, be able to funnel and channel them through perhaps a portfolio of things you offer, but have the right buyers match with the right thing and come through and buy from you as often as possible without you even having to talk to them. Now, the big ticket stuff, yeah, you're going to have to talk to people for the big ticket stuff. I just don't think people are gonna put a 1500-1800 purchase or whatever product going on up from there. Maybe a novice at under $1,000 without talking to you on a credit card. Most people, they'll buy JMAPs all day without talking to somebody. In the Lightning program, especially, which is designed to be. When you talk about the bigger stuff, nah, they're not going to do that. They're more likely this is a relationship business, but that's where the value comes in. You see, one of my views, I've talked to people who are in traditional MLM big companies right now, and they do boots on the ground, belly rubbing, networking. There's all kind of cliches about it. But the bottom line is, they go out and recruit somebody who signs up, and maybe spends $300 to $600 to sign up, right, to get their distributor kit. The person who signed them up maybe gets 50, if the company's generous, $100 from that person, and then they just go into their downline and start to expands their residual income. But really, that individual person doesn't become super valuable to that individual, until they actually get out and execute the effort, follow the system as they say, and actually have success in duplication themselves. Well, the reality in this industry is that people are going to seek you out. They're going to want to do business with you because of you. Not necessarily the what, although the what can be a game changer. At the end of the day, they're going to decide who they want to work with, based on everything from personality to warm and fuzzy feeling or not. Basically, people match up is the long and short of it. So instead of trying to sell the company or some other abstract concept, it really comes down to you being able to say to someone on the phone, or on the internet or some communication stream, I can help you, I will help you. We're going to monetize, get used to that word monetize. We're going to monetize using these other vehicles. Yet, our business is about serving people, serving customers, expanding prosperity, and bringing a whole different approach to what is now a pretty complex process. In summary, think about it. For those of you who are going to be resellers, get used to this particular phrase set, because you're going to see it on the new JMAP jointmarketingalliance.com website and through all of our marketing, because it's got a good rhythm to it. And it basically goes something like this. The internet marketing is really, in today's world, it's not just about building a website or iWix.com, right? They lead you to believe that's all you need to do. Buy Wix, set up your free website, although it's not free if you really want to do anything with it. And internet prosperity is yours. But solutions like Wix, to build a nice templated website, they have their value, especially with the costs that they are. It's not just about generating a bunch of YouTube videos. YouTube videos are great for getting some viral stuff going and getting traffic, to back to YouTube. My trick is getting that traffic to go through YouTube to you. But one step at a time, right? You can build a business inside YouTube. So success is about more than that. In fact, when you look at the strategy for contemporary massive success, it includes all of this stuff, which is the main concept through the final stage of Lightning, as I call it, which we call the JMAP Lightning platform. It automates through intelligent, some simple code that does intelligent things when you do the things basically follow a simple step. It produces everything that's required into one step. See, new people coming to look at the internet. Imagine if you would just, for the last 10 years or 20 years in your life, the internet's been around, and you said, nah, I'm not, you hear people making money on it, I'll never have to use that, or I don't need to make money on that, or whatever, right? People do that all the time. They come up and they say that I don't, I don't never going to do anything on the internet. So here you are in today's economy. You're over 50, 55. Corporate world is not going to be a landing place for you again. You don't quite have your retirement funded. What are you going to do, right? Well, if you're generally going to need as much money as possible between now and that point. So you need to do something that can make money for you. But you're also probably sitting there going, wow, I'm so far behind when you look at a blogger or somebody who's been at it for a decade, right? Well, you are that far behind. And so it'd be easy to say, well, I can't catch up and it's not going to be, so why start? Well, that's where systems like the JMAP Lightning platform change the game there, because you are going to be able to, by doing one simple activity, again, it takes minutes to learn in full auto mode. Just rinse and repeat, do that activity over and over. Basically, talk and have that dialogue with your potential marketplace out on the web. And based on your setup and configuration, obviously the platform you have, it goes out and does a tremendous amount of the work for you. Vast majority of it from the time and all you have to do is manage that one process. What do I want to communicate? Video, audio, article, whatever that communication piece is, and wherever you want it to be. There's a lot of little details, like to go post a link over here on Twitter, and then go and have that go to a Twitter page and or your website, or YouTube or Google Plus. If you've learned any of these, you learn each and every one of them can be a career in of itself. Yet the strategy is to go big and go wide, and so the timing again for our solution couldn't really be better. Yet those of you, a lot of you might be sitting out there thinking, how do I get leads? How am I going to, be able to get into, making money with this system? Well, look for people who already have, environments, especially heavy social media presences, because I don't care what they're talking about. At any point in time, they can lose it all. They can come in one morning, go to log in their, YouTube or Facebook, and they've been blocked out because of, maybe they said something, or somebody else said something on their site, or some piece of content that's controversial, something that the censors didn't like, and you're done. You're done for at least a review period of 3 weeks, and from having witnessed that recently with an alt media client, it pretty much crashed their business and it took them months to recover. You don't want to have that, especially if you're out there with a lot of momentum in this space. So, in sum, folks, this is a really exciting time. I'm excited about changing over to this video format because it allows me to maximize my time and do videos like this to communicate. Now, I admit I prefer live events, but I've always more enjoyed dealing directly with people, speaking live, as opposed to recordings. Yet, I know a lot of people that do this, record 3, 4, 5 videos a day for social media, and they, from watching how they operate and all, from a business sense, it really makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that's my wrap up for tonight. Right now, the Solid Air focus is, as I said earlier, and that's what we're going to have an advanced training call for those of you who are, Lightning members, and right now it'd be for all Lightning members. I know who it is. You'll get an email with the webinar link either later on tonight or in the morning. That'll be for Saturday morning, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, hour and a half, pure workshop format. And my objective is to have that training library up on a MAR for you, so that you can go, or we'll be showing it to you Saturday morning, so you can go learn all the little pieces, and so we can spend our live call time in application mode and actually doing stuff with the system, and not necessarily having to explain all the little, oh, I'm doing this, and that's the stuff that slows the live call down, and then makes it very difficult for you to go back and listen to live recorded webinars and extract any detail out of it. We've got, as we migrated these platforms over the last couple of months onto new technology, we have hundreds and hundreds of videos from the times we've been in existence, and there's some really great application training content. Marquise Jeffries has done a fantastic job on several courses, and yet a lot of our training, is, if you had the time to sit there and watch lots of videos, you'd walk away with a tremendous amount of knowledge. Yet what we're doing now, we've got a very concise system, a very concise way to do it. We don't have to teach a lot of the stuff we used to teach, because newbies don't need to know that. We've reduced the requirement from a training standpoint dramatically here. And you guys are going to see that. So, my recommendation to you for going into the weekend is, think about a leader page, a training page. Maybe you want to take, I encourage people to do a prototype or a case study Okay, maybe make the site their main site a case study. You put that up, and we're going to be teaching you how to do that and incorporate it into a training site, and that will get you some AdSense revenue, and then that being able to be incorporated into your JMA world, right, through the think tank system, and that gives us an easy way to promote you, to make you part of this movement, if you will, because that's the final phase of this. Our dialogue. That's why I really wanted to shift, because on the live calls, in our focus when we're talking about the opportunity and the way to make money, has to be about money, not technology. Technology is boring, right? Certainly, marketing technology is. It's think about it. It's kind of like a very painful experience for most people, right? And obviously, our objective is to keep from being painful. Yep. When we're talking about, if you want to make 6-7 figures selling opportunity, you're not going to do it because the product's great. You're going to do it because prosperity is the focus, because that's why people would come and get involved in that. And yet you will have people with our system uniquely could come through the other way as well, being product users. They want more support because they're end users. They want to learn more. May never sell the opportunity, might not be interested, but they will become a buyer, because that whole service product is an illegit product, compared to some e-library or some feel-good, belly-rubbing conference over in the Bahamas somewhere. So anyway, with that, I leave you tonight. I bid you a good evening. We'll see you all on Saturday morning, JMA members. And those of you, if you're seeing this on YouTube, hey, come take a look at what we're doing here. It's revolutionary and different. And if you haven't heard of us before, you will be soon. Good night.
Since you're gone, I took the big vacation. Since you're gone.